Here we go. Okay. So let's remember the very basics, because at the end of the day, this is about viability. And we all know that they say content is king, and I'm of the belief that distribution is queen. We have gone past the stage of looking at media literacy and being able to give the distinctions between different platforms. What we are looking at now is the information. And do the audiences and public really understand who is giving this information and what their agendas are? That's the point we are at. We all know about network journalism. I'm not going to go back there. This conversation is not one way anymore. As the editor, I don't determine what's good for my audiences. My audiences determine what is good for them. That is really the demise that we are facing. So the big question is journalism being diluted in the digital age? This is where we are at. And after speaking to so many young people, my son is 23, so I speak to a lot of young people, some of them don't see the sense in being a journalist. They say anyone can be a journalist. You're a citizen journalist. Who's to say that my opinion is not the correct opinion? That is the problem we have. So here are the challenges. These challenges are very real, especially in developing countries and in small island developing states, because we don't have wells full of money to deal with the economic challenges that exist as well. Then the mis and disinformation. My colleague and I, she's here with me, we are currently, we've actually just completed a study of 8 Caribbean countries and looking at this situation. It's part of a UNESCO project, but let me tell you, it is treacherous, and we're going to get to why. There's an erosion of public trust in media. There's an information overload. All of us in this room are going to be privy to 30 minutes of sessions back to back to back. What do we do with that when we leave here? So think about the public. Then there's a variety of news interests by audiences. The speed of the internet, that is where the challenge is. And also, we need infrastructure as journalists and media houses. So how to retain and grow our audiences? I'm a business-minded person. I always like to look at business models out there, and so it comes back to the very basics of what Miles and Snow said, that your strategy response is going to depend on you being a defender, a prospector, an analyzer, or reactor. And again, it's going to be tied to money and resources. So, open sources of information is good, but let's be real. All of us don't have it. In the Caribbean region, we don't have many online sources of information. If there was, then there would be no WikiLeaks, there would be no Panama Papers and all of those leaks. Analyzing data becomes the other issue. How do we analyze it and regurgitate it so that it makes sense to the audiences we are serving? How do we verify the information quickly? We are dealing with traditional newsrooms who get bombarded when there is social media bits of mis and disinformation. They call it traditional newsrooms. The public wants the information, but we just don't have the infrastructure to get it to them quickly to be able to dispel the mistruths. Cross-border collaboration is essential. I think that's why this conference is important, because it's not just about us getting together to unearth the truth as journalists, but it's also about us in this room coming together with our minds to decide how do we deploy the resources we have to make the puzzle the best puzzle that we can. Illustration of facts. Very important in our age because people don't want statistics anymore. We've gone past that. They want imagery. They want ways where they can see it. Memes are so popular, that's why, because the visual impact becomes important. So I believe we are in a period of renewal and renaissance. That's what it comes across to me as. We have to focus on collecting, processing, gaining insight, and obtaining information to build targeted news content specific to audience wants. If big tech can understand what we want through the interests we have, then why are we as news entities not using it in the same manner? We need to consider why. So journalism in the digital age is about creative disruption, and it's a new era of information literacy. But let me just point out a few things. It's a psychological battle. It's a battle for mind space, and we have to remember that. So each of us have to remember that what we're doing is really fighting for truth in somebody's mind, and how do we get them to the light at the end of the tunnel. It requires a whole of society approach. This is not something one person can do. You need to have government, you need to have civil society, you need to have private sector, because it requires the implementation of several strategies. What we found in the Caribbean is that media literacy was key on the agenda of how we solve the problem, starting with education in schools. The worst thing that can happen is the generation that grows up where the parents hand the child their phone or tablet. They are growing up on mis and disinformation. If we need to reach them, we need to start at the school level and work through all of the generations, right up to baby boomers. If you want to save everyone, you won't be able to. We're going to be able to save some people. So bearing all of that in mind, we are waking up and realizing this is the age of creative disruption, and the DCN Global Conference is a start to how we find the solution. Thank you.